please remember to leave a like, a comment, share the video about, and if you haven't already, subscribe. Thank you. Well, isn't this just fantastic?
Like banging hookers or nothing, so I'm probably gonna hang out with you guys, play Fallout 76 and bullshit.
A boogie with soft fire, not Tommy.
If you went to the hooker count or anything.
You lose track of how many
Somebody
firings
in the chat
happened.
asked if I'll pay Tommy C for his last month. His last month was June, and he was already paid for that. Yeah.
Yeah, he's already been paid.
So he already got paid his last month.
Yeah, that's how jobs work. What a cheap dude. What a cheapskate.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. I have noticed, I really should have screenshotted some of this, a rather interesting discourse taking place on the Twitters. And it all started because of that remark, that commentary from Mr. Killer Keemstar. Because as many have pointed out, this was not entirely accurate. In fact, in the videos I myself have made here on this channel had stated Tommy C missed most of the boogie stuff. That is not entirely true. So for the month of July, he should have been paid. And it was estimated he was owed somewhere in the region of $6,000. Now we know for a fact, because others on the show are special needs, they discussed the fact that they were making $2.5 grand a month, which if I had that kind of money here, I would be quite happy. But because of cost of living differences in states and nations, doesn't go as far in other places. But still, it's a reasonable amount of money. Since Boogie is still on the show, it seems weird when you think that Tommy C was removed for not signing some faux NDA and for trying to get others to communicate on a more regular basis, to have a simple meeting before going live to make sure the show was ready. There has been much in the way of division on subreddits, on Twitter, as to the real impact of Tommy on the show. My view when I watched it was always the same. Tommy was there to keep the other two in check, and that's what he did. Whether he was effective or not doesn't matter. That's what he was meant to do. Removing him and keeping it that way seems a bit odd, because now it means Keem, who had done a show retiring from the show, is also back more regularly on the show, which again makes this mess look even more amateur, staged, WWE-esque, but less script. Because I'm not convinced he can. I don't think Boogie knows how to read. Now if you're going to keep Boogie on the show when he faked cancer, even though you fired him, you're going to pay him as well. Why not pay Tommy C? At the point in the story where we're going to lead up to the conclusion, by the way, yes, I'm well aware of how this ends. We're going to go through some tweets that are relevant to this discussion. We'll start with, I just got a message from Keemstar, a video from Tommy C.
I just got a message from Keemstar. I know you guys are a lot interested in my pay situation. I'm not playing this game where we have to get into discussion over what. I work the month of July. I'm to be paid the month of July and walk. I'm not playing any games, not getting to the manipulative or anything like that. He went on and told people he wouldn't pay me. He's going to pay me for the month of July. I'm not going for a meeting with him. We're not going to discussion. We're not going to have a debate. I'm just going to make this public right now. He used to pay me for what I've done because I don't want to do anything else. I want out. I'm done. I did my part. I'm to be paid. And I'm not getting nitpicked over a vacation that I put in months earlier. Pay me, Keemstar. I will take this to the public. I don't want to do anything with you in private. You are to pay me for what I did. That's it. Bye.
Now in this, I fully support Tommy C, because he put in for a holiday. He was an employee. He was a part of this. Therefore, he is entitled to his share of what happened in July. We can debate semantics about whether or not it was real or not, blah-de-blah-de-blah, what you contribute towards the show, it does not matter. They knew his holiday was months in advance. He was a part of the content. Therefore, he is entitled to his 25%. I am curious if Boogie got 25%, since, you know, his shares were bought out, allegedly. But as Tommy has pointed out, they don't really have shares either. If someone performs a service, no matter how big or small, their fee, their rate, must be paid. Now, Keemstar's position at this point was that he wanted to talk to Tommy. As far as Tommy's concerned, he's playing this smart. Any discussion is public, but he doesn't want a discussion with Keemstar anyway. He just wants his money and to walk away from this mess. And that's totally fair. If you don't want to be a part of Lolcowlive anymore, that makes perfect sense. In the replies to Tommy's tweet, BB Phil, why are you being like this, Tommy? He said he would leave the door open for you, and yet you say all this nasty stuff. Maybe he just wants to discuss the amount he owes you. Tommy, he knows what he owes me. I closed the door the moment he said publicly he would not pay me for July. I do not work for thieves. Phil, maybe that's just his opening position, though, that he won't pay you at all. You know he is probably still upset. Maybe there is a compromise here. Tommy, you can't compromise with people who threaten to not pay you for work already done. I'm not compromising my integrity. It's not up for debate, and it's non-negotiable. I've done my time with Keem. I want out now. Reply, he should pay you the full 1 hour 18 minutes of work in July. Now, this is disingenuous. Again, Tommy does explain in the video, this is a person basically saying, I haven't watched the video to understand that that's not the point, but you know what? You go. Tommy did fire up his stream, a 3 hour 7 minute stream. Keem says he won't pay, now he wants to talk. The top comment, what sucks is Boogie was, quote, fired, but got his ass licked by Keem, and then you got fired, but you are being treated like you are a piece, of garbage, even though Boogie faked cancer. Yes, there is some bias in this, fairly obvious bias. I think because Keem knows Boogie is guaranteed views at this point, and because of an ongoing friendship, he will hold that level of bias, and he did fob this off as Tommy C being chosen by Nick Diorio as a recommendation, who he dubbed a mistake on an episode of Lolcowlive, and possibly not listening to Nick Diorio in the future on things like that.
And who Tangle thinks about, what do you say when I would send the idea NDA? Right, first thing out of his mouth. I guess it's been a good run then. It's a threat, everything's a threat, everything's intimidation. I'm too old. I'm not a kid, and I'm not broke. Fuck it.
No, it's just blatant manipulation tactics, and not to sound righteously indignant on your behalf, Tommy, but the only way you should ever want to come back to Baited and or Lolcow is if you own the entire
Yeah, I know.
Period.
Yeah.
Bottom line. Like that's the only reason you should be coming back, is if you are promised full ownership of both podcasts.
Here's another thing about going back. This podcast, rightly or wrongly, because I've never been a part of any kind of work or some kind of fake drama behind the scenes or anything like that. If I go back, right, at this point, everybody thinks it's fake anyway. People think are watching this right now and think this whole thing's scripted, and there's nothing I can do about it.
Nick Diorio. I figured people would want a Lolcow update. In regards to the content, it doesn't appear Keem intends to DMCA me. I've been clipping the 5 hours down to 3 chunks and plan to start releasing them ASAP. I would assume this falls within fair use, which is why it's been referenced. The part that we want. I've also spoke to both Keem and Tommy. My interpretation with Keem is that the call went well, and I think we came away on good terms. He's not happy with me reacting to the members thing, and we have some heavy disagreements with the show, but in general, I think the call was productive. The main takeaway now is that Keem wants to have a call with Tommy to work things out. I personally reached out to Tommy to get that out there. That being said, Tommy doesn't want to talk to Keem until he gets paid. Keem doesn't plan to pay him for July despite firing him in August. I get why Keem wants to just hop in a call and hash things out, but I also think he should just pay Tommy what he is owed. In a perfect world, cooler heads would prevail, and Tommy would be paid for his work promptly. Then they could get into a call, even if it doesn't solve anything, if only to just go their separate ways anyways. Things are complicated though, and I get that. Reply from Jessica Pizzle, Keem owes Tommy, especially since the only stream worth anything that happened on that channel had Tommy staying up until 4 AM, and even staying after everyone else left to read donos. Yeah, there's a thing with the donos, certainly under $20, where they're not really acknowledged much by other members of that show. Whenever I've received donations when I'm live, I make it a point to read it, no matter how big or small, because it's still incredible generosity. And if you're a live show, you don't want to come across as entitled or like somebody that has a line where you're willing to go. Now, I get it for bigger channels or professional streamers, you know, the types who get loads of donations. In this though, no, you have 3 hosts. You could easily reply to all of them. Even if it's someone doing, one does up to $5, other one does up from $5 to $10, the other one does 10 and above. Yeah? The more you donate, the greater the Lolcow response. I'm a real ideas man, so I do hope you consider using that. Willie Mac, Keem. Everyone needs to sign an NDA because I don't want them to talk about money. Keem fires Tommy for not signing an NDA. Keem doesn't pay Tommy. Tommy was obviously right for not signing that NDA. Reply, on Tommy's stream right now, Tommy said Keemstar either pays him or not, there's no negotiation. Tommy had said this on Twitter as well. And to be honest, there shouldn't be any negotiation. At this point, Tommy was owed up to $6,000. Close to, in fact, based on what we saw from Tommy's own stream where he shows the analytic numbers. Estimated revenue, $25,000. I don't know how it works with regards to tax on this, so I'm not entirely sure what the exact number is, and it's not my place to guess. Whether it has to be done as a business or whether it's done individually, none of my concern. The fact is, $25,000 is there. Willie Mac. Keem is the only person that I know that can withhold $6K from an employee and claim to be the one who was scammed. The lolcow behavior is on point. The guest on Tommy C's channel, or co-host, I don't know which, had stated if it wasn't for the fact that Boogie got into drama, Keem would be the biggest lolcow on Lolcowlive. There might well be a point to that. Image included in Willie Mac's tweet, Lolcowlive, Tommy, sorry bud, you're not gonna scam me. Maybe you can scam these viewers into thinking you're a victim when you didn't even work. This is in Tommy's stream chat. Bo Blacks retweeted Tommy C by saying, pay him Keem or I will DM this to Ethan Klein. Now, Ethan Klein and Keemstar don't have the best working relationship, but Ethan Klein does not require a reason to go in on Keemstar. He continued by saying, if Tommy C is not paid what he is owed from his work on Lolcow during July, I'll do everything in my power to blow up this story and force him to pay Tommy what he's owed through public pressure. F it, I'll make my main channel return video about this if I have to. Tommy C helped contribute to me getting paid by Pokimane through sharing my copyright story in late 2018. I'm just returning the favour. Someone had suggested that he tag Keemstar or Lolcowlive, but Josh is actually blocked by both, which is unfortunate. There isn't really much in the way of a working relationship with them either. Bo Blacks followed this up by saying Tommy can't get paid because Keem used his cut on Roblox skin for his wife. That sounds like a DSP kind of thing, who's been getting a bit of praise and heat, depending on your interpretation, for being on Kino Casino instead of Lolcowlive. Chris the Narc had retweeted Keemstar in a tweet that's since been deleted, and it's irritating. I should have gotten the screenshot sooner, my fault, by saying, Keem, this is 100% wrong and you need to pay Tommy. He did the work for the month of July, you guys approved the vacation days and the scheduled stream. Boogie went live anyways without a plan, which ended up becoming a mess, and Boogie tried to act tough and led to Tommy getting fired. The NDA was not necessary for Tommy as well when Boogie and Wings talked about the finances each and every time. Pay Tommy what he's owed. He was not an employee, it's split between all four of you each month. Tommy's owed the money, that's it, pay the man. I'm kind of curious if Boogie gets his 6K or near 6K. If Boogie does at this point, I'm kind of disappointed and not surprised. The accusation of manufactured drama is not going to go anywhere anytime soon though, is it? Now, there has been a fair amount of public pressure, to the point Keem has been trending, in fact on the screen here, even though we're on the 8th of August, Keem is still trending below Falkland Islands and Tampon Tim. There are two reasons for that, and they're for another day. It has been a couple days, a day, two, yes, and Keem, owing to public pressure, put out Tommy C on September the 1st. On the normal pay schedule, you will be paid the normal 25% for the full month of July. Should be around $6,000. I've deleted all my previous comments. I still very much want a conversation to resolve other issues outside of this. Also, I'd like to add, I'm being scammed and no one cares, PS I hate you all. I wish you hadn't deleted the tweets, but in the context of the situation, this would have been quite poor on you to not acquiesce to this one, because it involves a lot of money. You cannot defend someone on your own channel, have them continue to be there when they have knowingly scammed their audience, scammed them with Faddy coin, and then lied about having cancer for 2 years, if you yourself do not have the common decency to abide these unwritten rules to pay someone their share for being a part of a show. Whether they were present or not during the time is irrelevant. It was approved vacation, and they were a part of these shows, as Jessica Pizzle had earlier pointed out. Mentioning Jessica actually replied to Nick Diorio, who had said Keemstar will pay Tommy his July paycheck, by saying, still tried to scam Tommy, and the only reason he's not going through it is because the public shamed him. With Willie Mac underneath that saying, won't believe it till it goes in his account, lol. A sentiment I can fully understand and appreciate. I do, however, in this instance believe Keem will do so. Of course, we have to wait a few days, fair few, to be certain. Tommy C retweeted Nick Diorio, thank you all for your support, and I'm glad it's been resolved. I do hope that you are paid in full, and that by being paid in full you can move on. Of course you can. Tommy C has a reasonably successful channel. He streams on a regular basis. He does well. I say reasonably successful. He is successful in his own way, doing his own content. Everyone's successful. What I mean to say is, he will continue to do well doing what Tommy does. And as far as Lolcowlive goes, it's doing alright. The views are great, still. It's not totally dropped off just yet, but give it time, I'm sure things will change. And if it continues to change for the negative, then of course that could be a problem. According to Social Blade, it's doing alright at present. Views are in the tens of thousands, so there's no real complaint on that part, is there now? And as far as the live shows go, I mean, the most recent one got 96,000 views after 2 days. I thought they were going to do one where they went shopping. I don't know where that is. Oh well. Tell me what you think about this nonsense in the comments down below, because I find how this played out to be really bad, because Keem had been more prominent on Twitter, adamant he was not going to pay Tommy, which does look like he had basically scammed someone with no level of irony.